Good morning. It's another day of dodging killer acorns and another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana, a committed purpose and practice over a period of time with faith that it will have beneficial results. I was in my hammock the other day, yesterday, oh my gosh, and I was watching a squirrel run up above me and knock all those acorns down. Shoo, he didn't get me. Is life getting you? Well, that's one of the things that studying the Bhagavad Gita can help with. And we're in chapter 12, the yoga of devotion, although we haven't referred to specific verses lately, and that's due to many things, but including there's a wonderful question that came in from one of my favorite people in the world, M squared. You know who you are, M squared. And it was in a recent comment to one of the videos, can I be devoted, which is what chapter 12 of the Gita is all about. Can I be devoted to my higher self with a capital S? Yes, you can. You can have this bhakti yoga connection. Bhakti yoga doesn't have to have any poses. You know, a lot of people say I don't have time in my life for yoga or I'm too stiff to do yoga, but bhakti yoga is all about cultivating healthy and supportive connections in your world. And you can have a devoted connection to your higher self. In fact, some would say that's one of the most important things you can do in this life. But that's often confused because some people say, well, that's self-indulgent. It's interesting to try to discern the difference between self-devotion and self-devotion. And I can't say capital letters in spoken English. So little s self-devotion versus big S self-devotion. Most of us confuse the two. If you're committed to your true higher self, that's different than being committed to your, one could say, ego-based, limited sense of little s self. I'm seeing that with my being sick. And thank you to all who have reached out. Especially Jennifer for the lovely soup yesterday. What the being sick is forcing me to do this time around, since I guess I'm a little more aware from this sadhana, is to evaluate my connection to my little s self. For example, I am very devoted to this image I have of myself as not getting sick. I've gone for long periods of time, years, without getting even a cold. And that's a source of pride. So that when I'm finally hit with a virus that everybody in the human race is hit with and that mutates rapidly and da 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 da, I'm like, what's wrong with me? This is not me. It's not my little s version of me. And then other things that the sickness does, like, I have to ask people for help. I don't like asking people for help. Even when people offer help, it's so hard to say, yeah, I'd really love it if somebody dropped off those siete cinnamon sugar crisps, because that's all I can think about for days. But no, I don't need help. My little s self is independent. My little s self is timely and precise. And this brain crap that the sick has brought on is making me not timely and not precise. I can't even keep days straight right now. What day is this? Monday, I think. Well, anyway, what does it matter? And it's a challenge to also look at, oh, this is the worst thing's ever happened. My tendency to be pessimistic when things don't go the way my little s self thinks they should go. This is horrible. I'm supposed to have a week off next week. I'm going to have to use next week to make up all the stuff I can't get to this week. And it's a beautiful day and I can't do my. So this is a view inside, perhaps not just my head, but the churnings of your little s self. You might have different churnings, but this is why crisis in the Bhagavad Gita is so important. Chapter 1, when Arjun just doesn't feel like himself with the little s self. He's not displaying his usual behaviors and he has to confront this attachment he has to his little s self, whereas Krishna, representing his big S self, is encouraging him to shift. So if I do put my connection in the larger self and remember that everything is going just as it should be and it's working for the highest good, then my whole perspective on what I feel I'm going through in this moment is, wow, it's different. It's as one of my friends, Deb, says, it's, first world problems I'm complaining about, and am not devoted to my true S self as much as I think I am. So thank you, being sick, for showing this to me. I'm going to try to have a positive view. My little S self is like, no. And my big S self is, I am a great teacher in many mysterious ways. I encourage you today to think of how you might be attached to your little S self, even when the world is trying so hard to break you of that attachment and maybe have you become devoted to something. This is the idea of immortality as taught by yoga. If you're devoted to anything impermanent, it's going to change. But if you can find the permanent in existence and devote yourself to that, you become essentially immortal. You identify with that. That's part of the idea of the Mahamrityunjay mantra, identifying with that part of you that's you and never changes. That's my hammock. I'm going to do my contemplation from my hammock today. And I'm especially sending good vibes to Sandy G. I'm so sorry to hear about your foot. Take good care of yourself, little s and big S. And if you want to lie down and join me, you can sit. You can be in a headstand. You can be sitting with a very impressive mudra. I'm going to lie in my hammock today. Just lie there and contemplate my attachment to my little S self. Five minutes. Time's up. Good thing there was a timer today. We could have been here for a long time. Hammock yoga. Highly recommended. That was a great contemplation for me. All the ways my big S self is helping me to realize the futility of attachment to my little s, changing inaccurate idea of myself. So thank you, world. Thank you, you. And since we were talking about connection in this chapter, thanks for the connection and all I've been hearing. And I apologize to anybody I'm not responding back too quickly, because that's another thing I like to think about myself. I'm responsive and it just is not happening. So, but my plan is to see it tomorrow. So if the big self lets that happen, I'll be here. Otherwise, well, we'll just see. And there's a beautiful moon right up there. It's gorgeous. Hi, moon. Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. Until next time.